Hi everyone, welcome to English Digest. I'm Pat.
And I'm Erin.
So Erin, how do you choose what movie you want to go to the theatre to watch?
I guess if I'm already in the theatre watching a movie, it's from the trailers that I see beforehand.
Right.
Otherwise, I usually just go to movies that my friends want to go to. I'm not picky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really have been trying to avoid watching trailers for some years now.
Okay.
I find that they give away too much of the plot or the interesting scenes or what certain characters will look like. I've really, for certain movies, tried to avoid them.
Right.
Like particularly things like the new Star Wars. Like, no, I'm not watching it. Don't make me watch it. Close my eyes. Fingers in my ears.
Just want to know what's going to happen.
I don't want to know anything about it.
Right.
I want to be surprised by everything as it appears on the screen.
Right.
But what I don't mind is posters, posters of movies, which I think kind of give away just a little teaser. But they don't give you anything else except a few things that you can guess and speculate about.
So you might see what kind of costumes they're wearing, kind of figure out what sort of time period it's from that, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, a good movie poster will make you go, oh, that looks kind of cool. So that's really what we're talking about today. And these aren't small posters. These are really big, impressive posters.
Right. They're not the kinds that you'll see sort of on somebody's wall in their house.
No, these would be on the outside wall covering the whole house.
The whole building, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, it is billboard art. So we'll get into the article and read about what billboard art exactly is.
With the amount of advertising consumers are exposed to nowadays, they could hardly be blamed for ignoring a typical movie poster. However, some movie posters in Taiwan will make you look twice. Long before the age of computers and digital printing, a handful of artists were hand-painting movie posters on billboards. Though these gorgeous creations are now a dying art, two artists remain devoted to the craft. Xie Senshan and Yan Zhenfa painstakingly bring movie characters to life, capturing the actors' spirits on large canvases. Xie paints movie posters of all sorts, but his most popular ones feature the late Taiwanese entertainer Chu Ge-liang. Xie's paintings of Chu are so realistic that it's as if Chu were gazing right at you. Gaining this level of skill was no small feat. During his apprenticeship, Xie's masters had him do the studio's most basic chores. To learn anything, Xie would have to secretly observe their work and then stay behind to practice before the leftover paints had dried out. Nevertheless, Xie persevered, becoming a master in his own right. Yan's apprenticeship was similarly difficult, with the added pressure of resistance from his family. Like Xie, however, he eventually overcame these obstacles. By practicing relentlessly, Yan finally realized, paintings are dead, people are alive. You have to understand the core essence, and only then can you paint a portrait that really captures the subject. The Chunmei Theater in Tainan, which has partnered with Yan for years, recently started a billboard cultural and creative camp. As the camp's chief instructor, Yan passes on his skills to several regular students. Although their work is yet to meet Yan's high standards, he is proud of their desire to keep the compelling tradition of hand-painted movie posters alive for years to come.
So let's have a quick look at our title then, Taiwan's billboard art. A billboard is just a really big board that you would see usually at the side of a road or on top of a building or on the side of a building, advertising something, and it's really big with really big letters and a simple picture because people really only see it when they drive past or walk past. So it's got to be something that grabs their attention but isn't full of small details, as they won't have time to look at it.
Right.
And these are cinematic treasures on these billboards. Cinematic is related to the cinema, movie theaters, and the business of making movies. So these are treasures of the movie business.
Okay, well, let's find out more about them. Let's start by finding out more about the advertising world first. It says, with the amount of advertising consumers are exposed to nowadays, they could hardly be blamed for ignoring a typical movie poster. Now, hard to blame someone for just ignoring a poster, but these aren't typical ones. Now, let's talk about advertising first. Advertising is the business of making advertisements to sell products or services that you have for your business. And consumers are, of course, the people who buy and use these goods and services that the advertising is trying to promote. Okay, so not typical movie posters here. These ones are special, huge billboard movie posters.
Yeah, and people, as Erin said, are exposed to a lot of advertising. In this case, expose kind of means to make somebody kind of accessible or influenced by particular actions or something else. It basically means that thing is there in their life and they have to kind of experience it on a, in this case, daily basis.
Right.
So we could talk about being exposed to the sun, which means you're out there, the sun is beating down on you. We could talk about you being exposed to a person's influence, in which case that person is able to talk to you and kind of convince you and change your mind about certain things.
Right.
So being exposed to advertisements basically means you see them everywhere. They're online, they're on TV, they're before movies, they're in magazines.
Right.
You know, they pop up on your phone as you're trying to watch a YouTube video. They are constant.
They are everywhere.
And therefore, we tend to tune them out. We tend not to pay attention to them. So if you see a thing for a movie, you've probably seen it 100 times already, so you don't even watch it. You just go, you switch your brain and your eyes off.
Right.
But these movie posters you're going to look at twice, which means you go, huh? Oh, that's pretty cool. Because long before the age of computers and digital printing, which is what we have now, where you get hundreds of movie posters exactly the same from a computer and a printer, they had a handful of artists were hand painting these movie posters on billboards. A handful means a small amount, a few. If they were small things, it's how many you can hold in your hand. So 5, 6, 8. A handful can pretty much mean anything from 3 or 4 to about 7 or 8, I think.
Right. Now, because there's so few of these people, these artists making these huge movie posters by hand, it says these gorgeous creations are now a dying art. Now, gorgeous is another way of saying very beautiful, very attractive, almost like you're saying something is stunning. You could say a gorgeous dress a movie star might wear to an awards ceremony, or the gorgeous scenery. Maybe you're looking at something very beautiful in nature, sort of thing. So they're a dying art. That means that there's only a few people still doing this.
You don't really see these anymore.
No.
Nobody does it. But 2 artists remain devoted to the craft. If you are devoted to something, then you are really loyal to it. You want to keep doing that thing. It's exactly what your heart wants. You can be devoted to a person, and you will kind of stay with them and you will always be at their side. Like dogs are often devoted to their owners, so on. You could be devoted to a thing. You just want to keep doing it and spend all your time and attention on it, which is the case here. And in this case, it's the craft. Here, the craft is some kind of art, and it's referring here to billboard art. So it's a craft is something you do generally by hand and which takes skill. So if you're devoted to a craft, you're devoted to this particular kind of art, this craft, this tradition, this whole idea which takes skill, and you do it yourself.
Right. Okay, well, let's talk about these two artists who are so devoted to their craft. As you heard, I probably didn't say the names correctly in our reading of the article, so I'll just use their family names here. This time, Xie and Yan painstakingly bring movie characters to life. Now, when you do something painstakingly, you do something very carefully, very thoroughly. You pay a lot of attention to it, almost to the point where if you don't do something correct, you have to go back and start it again. It takes a lot of work. It's almost not painful, but it could kind of cause you some frustrations.
We say to take pains to do something means you try really hard.
Right.
So take pains, painstaking. It's just kind of reversed and made one single word.
Right.
And they bring movie characters to life, which kind of means they don't just look like drawings on a page. They look like they're real people. They look like photographs, basically.
Right.
Really good photos. And they capture the actors' spirits on large canvases. To capture here means to record accurately in words or pictures. In this case, pictures. You could also capture something through performance. But here, they're basically using these pictures to really show the actors' spirits and really show what they're like in person on these large canvases. A canvas is a big area of material that is generally used for painting because it takes the paint and keeps it really well.
Okay, well, let's learn about one of the artists here. Xie paints movie posters of all sorts. So he's going to do all kinds of movie posters, whether they're Hollywood movies or Taiwanese movies. But his most popular ones feature the late Taiwanese entertainer Chu Ke-liang. Now, I probably didn't say that right.
Chu Ke-liang. Sounds about right to me.
Okay, well, we say the adjective late here. It does not mean that you're not on time for something. It means that someone has died, especially recently. So we know that Chu Ke-liang, he passed away, I think, in May of 2017. So
May
not
or June, I think, yes.
Yeah, sometime back then. And he's an entertainer, which means basically he's a person who entertains other people. He will tell jokes or sing songs, be in movies, this kind of thing. Anything that entertains someone, if the person is doing it, they're an entertainer.
And Xie's paintings of Chu are so realistic. It's as if Chu were gazing right at you. So they really do look like photographs. They're so good. It looks like he's there on the billboard himself. We'll find out how Xie got this good at painting in a moment. Right now, we're going to hand over to our Chinese teacher.
Hello everyone, my name is Tina. 我们来看一下第一个空格的句子写着 Long before the age of computers and blank one printing, a handful of artists were hand-painting movie posters on billboards. 今天的主题讲到呢是手绘的这个电影看板，所以在这个电脑的时代还有怎么样印刷的时代之前，其实这些电影的看板是用手绘的。我们用呢第一题标准答案选择一选项 digital 指的呢就是数位的，用 computers 电脑来跟 digital printing 这个其实指的就是数位印刷，而现在就是这个年代，在那之前呢其实大部分的电影看板都是手绘的。第二个空格 Though these gorgeous creations are now and blank to art, two artists remain devoted to the craft. 虽然这种手绘的创作呢现在是怎么样的艺术了，但是有两位艺术家还是非常呢执着于这样子的一个创作。我们来搭配前面的文章，大部分都是电脑跟数位的印刷，所以造成这样子的一个手绘创作品现在已经是即将消失的艺术了。所以第二题我们需要一个形容词，标准答案可以选择 J 选项 dying， 就是解释成为即将消失的意思。这两位艺术家分别是谢生山以及严正发。我们来看一下第三个空格后面的句子写着 Capturing the actors colors blank 3 on large canvases. 他们呢是用手绘的方式，在这个巨大的画布上体现了演员们的什么呢？第3题，我们需要一个名词搭配所有格，我们可以选择 D 选项 spirits， 也就是用手绘的方式，在大型的画布上呢，来捕捉呈现了演员的灵魂。接着我们来看到第4个空格，他们呢其实有各式各样的电影海报 but his most popular ones blank for the late Taiwanese entertainer 诸葛亮。其实呢他最受欢迎的是这个怎么样，这已经过世的台湾艺人诸葛亮。在这里我们需要一个动词，我们可以选择 A 选项的 feature 呢可以解释成为以什么为主打或以什么为主轴，他最受欢迎的海报就是以台湾艺人诸葛亮为他的绘画主打。第4题的标准答案就选择 A 选项。后面说到 Xia's paintings of Drew are so blank 5 that it's as if Drew were gazing right at you. 谈到呢他在画诸葛亮的这个画作是如此的怎么样，以至于你会感觉呢就好像诸葛亮正在注视着你。当然是画作非常的真实，栩栩如生，所以搭配 I 选项 realistic 在这里就解释成为真实的意思。
We're going to take a short break now, but stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking about Xie Sen-chan, if that's how you pronounce it. But gaining the level of skill to do these movie billboard posters was no small feat. A feat is a kind of accomplishment that's difficult and admirable. So any kind of feat is something that's like, wow, you really accomplished something there. You impressed a lot of people. And we use the phrase no small feat to mean a very difficult task.
Right. So it wasn't easy to do this. Now, he had an apprenticeship. It says during his apprenticeship, Xie's masters had him do the studio's most basic chores. Now, an apprenticeship is someone's early experiences in a kind of work. Now, it's usually to do with a skill or a craft. For example, a long time ago in the past when we had hat makers or shoemakers,
Blacksmiths.
Blacksmiths. You would go and learn from someone who's already been doing this for a really long time so that you could eventually take over as the blacksmith or the hat maker. So that's what he did. He went to study under these master painters, but he wasn't allowed to do any of the painting. He had to do the studio's most basic chores. Now, a chore is an ordinary job that must be done regularly. Now, this is usually done in a house where you have to clean because you don't want things to be dirty or dusty. We all know those chores of washing the dishes.
Laundry.
Sweeping and mopping, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so the basic chores in an art studio will probably be like clean up the spilled paint, throw out the old paint tubes and
wash
buckets.
The brushes.
Yeah, clean the canvases, set everything up, get rid of any dust because we don't want that. So to learn anything, Xie would have to secretly observe their work. So he'd watch what they did kind of while he was sweeping the floor and then stayed behind after the masters had left to practice before the leftover paints had dried out. Leftover paints means the artist probably put some paint on their palettes or in a jar or in a tray or something, and the leftover was whatever they didn't use to do their particular piece of art. Now, before it dried out, we could also say dried up, or basically just dried and became unusable. You'd have to add water again to make the paint be paint. He used those paints and practiced with them, you know, on whatever was left over after the artist had finished for the day.
Right. So not easy to do. He's got a lot of hard things to face to actually learn how to do this.
Yeah, he can't open a new paint bottle and get straight on with it. He has to go, whatever's left, I have to use that.
Right. That's why we say, nevertheless, Xie persevered, becoming a master in his own right. So despite all of these hard things that he has to deal with, he persevered. That means he continued to try to achieve his dream here of painting these.
He didn't give up.
Right. He didn't give up, and he became a master in his own right. Now, when we use this phrase in somebody's own right, we're saying that you do something as a result of your own ability and not because of anyone else helping you. So your achievements are from your skill and your ability to do these things, and not because someone said, oh, why don't you try this? Why don't you do this?
Yeah, so people didn't think, oh, he must be good because he trained under these other masters.
Right.
It's more like, wow, Xie's really good kind of thing. So we also mentioned another billboard artist, Yan Zhenfa, and his apprenticeship, which again is that learning process, was similarly difficult, which means he had it just as hard as Xie. He had to do probably the same kind of chores and learn in the same way, but he had the added pressure of resistance from his family. Resistance is the noun form of the verb resist. If something resists something, it opposes it, it tries to stop it from happening, it blocks it. So what we mean here is basically his family didn't want Yan to be an artist.
Right.
You know, they wanted him to get a different kind of career. They didn't think art was right for him. We don't quite know why, but maybe we can guess that they thought, oh, this is going nowhere.
There's no money in it.
Yeah, or you're working in movies and that's a kind of, you know, that industry's not quite proper, something like that. You know, we wanted you to work in money, or we wanted you to become a doctor or a lawyer or something. So he had to kind of overcome, you know, he had to beat that. He had to go, family, you know, maybe you're not going to support me. Maybe you'll kick me out of the home. But I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, it's my dream. So here it says, like Xie, however, he eventually overcame these obstacles. Now, an obstacle is something that gets in your way of doing something. It can be a literal translation or a literary translation, which means it's not something real or physical. It's maybe this resistance is an obstacle. Or it can be like a barrier, like a wall that's set up if we're talking about physical objects. But anyways, he overcame these obstacles. And when you overcome something, you succeed in dealing with or controlling a problem. So you find a way to get around the problem or to fix the problem.
Yeah, and his was by practicing relentlessly. If you do something relentlessly, you never stop. You do it every day for hours and hours. You maybe take a short break, but you keep at it. You work late. You start early. You do not relent. To relent means to stop. So relentless would be the adjective meaning never stop. And here we've got it as the adverb form relentlessly. So by doing it and never stopping, Yan realized something, and he realized, we've got a quote here, paintings are dead, people are alive. So what he means is a painting on a board doesn't have any real life of its own. It's just an image. But the people who are in these films that he's painting pictures of, they are alive. They're real people who can move and have emotions. And so that's, I guess, probably what he wanted to capture.
Right.
You know, what he wanted to show. Not just a picture of someone, but what that person was really like and what they would do if they were here right now.
And we call that, or he calls that in his quote here, the core essence. Now, core is, here we're using it as the most important or the most basic part of something. And we're kind of, it's sort of similar to what essence is, which is the most important part of something, or what gives something its character, I guess.
Yeah, the essence kind of determines something. That is the thing. That is the one word which would describe that thing or that person, someone's essence. You know, someone's essence could be, you know, it could be a love of life. You know, it could be a pride. It could be loyalty. That is a person's core essence, the kind of one single feature that really defines them and says who they are, what they are about, and kind of what makes them who they are.
Right. And so what Yen is doing here is he's trying to capture that spirit of the person and paint a portrait that really expresses this.
Yes, exactly.
And so that's what he's doing. Now, it goes on to say that Yen has partnered with the Chunmei Theater in Tainan, and he's been working with them for years. But more recently, he started a billboard cultural and creative camp. So he's sort of passing passing his skills at this craft on to some students. He's the instructor there. And when he's passing something on to them, he's teaching them or giving them a skill that he has, and they can continue this skill when he's gone.
Yeah, it's this passing on in this where we always kind of mean from an older generation to the next generation. You know, you could pass on things in families. You know, your grandmother or grandfather gives you something which you then give to your children,
right,
and so on. So this is all a way to keep this particular tradition of billboard art alive. So he's not just teaching them how to paint, he's teaching them why and what they want to achieve and why it's important to get these things out there. Now, we see from the article that although their work, the students' work, is yet to meet Yen's high standards, he is proud of their desire to keep the compelling tradition of hand-painted movie posters alive from years to come. So the students have got a lot of work, you know, as we found with Xie and Yen. They practice hard for years to be able to get as good as they are. The students aren't quite there yet, you know, so he's saying, you know, do more, do better, keep going.
Right.
But he does appreciate and is proud of their desire, the feeling they have, you know, the kind of the real want to, like, not let this die out with the old masters.
Right. Now, we also saw that we saw the adjective compelling used to describe this tradition of hand-painted movie posters. Something compelling is something interesting or exciting enough to really keep your attention. You don't want to turn away from this thing because it's so interesting.
It's so powerful or admirable in some way. So, and that's exactly how we can describe this tradition, you know, and these billboards. They're compelling. You see them and you just look at them for a bit because they're so awesome and they keep your attention. Okay, well, that's the end of the article. We'll hand over now to our Chinese teacher, then we'll be back to wrap things up.
其实刚开始谢深山在当学徒的时候学不太到东西。第6个空格写着 To learn anything, Xie would have to secretly blank six their work and then stay behind to practice. 为了要学一些事情呢，这个谢深山必须要偷偷的 secretly 怎么样师傅们的作品，然后呢再留下来练习。那么在这里我们在have to 后面可以放一个原形动词，选择 B 选项的 observe， 也就是有观察，先观察再留下来练习，所以第6题的标准答案就选择 B observe。 第7个空格 Like Xie, however, he eventually overcame these blank 7。 这里谈到的呢是严正发，他刚开始也是同样的艰苦，但是呢就跟谢深山一样，他最终克服了什么？当然是克服了这些障碍。第7题可以选择 G 选项的 obstacles， 在这里就是障碍的意思。接着看到第8个空格后面呢，他认为呢你必须要抓到那个精髓 and only then 只有这样子 can you paint an blank 8 that really captures the subject。 只有抓到精髓，你才有办法画出怎么样的东西是真正抓住这个主角呢？当然我们要画的是这个主角的肖像绘像，所以第8题可以选择 H 选项的 portrait， 其实就有肖像绘画的意思。第9个空格 As the camp's chief blank 9, Yan passes on his skills to several regular students。 那么他们呢最后也开办了一个研习营，那么严正发身为这个研习营的首席的什么，他当然要传递他的技巧给几名学生。我们在这里第9题研习营需要有一个指导者，搭配文意，第9题的标准答案就可以选择 C 选项的 instructor。 Although their work is yet to meet Yan's high blank 10， 虽然呢这些学徒的作品还得要符合这个严正发很高的怎么样，不过呢他却是非常有心，渴望呢把这个传统呢继续传递下去。我们讲到要符合高标准，所以搭配文意第10题的标准答案可以选择 F 选项的 standards， 在这里就是有标准的意思。OK， 以上就是今天的课文讲解，谢谢收听。
Okay, well, that is the end of our article about Taiwan's billboard art. We hope you've learned some useful words and also learned to appreciate this really cool piece of, art and history and tradition that's been around Taiwan's movie industry for a long time.
Yeah, for decades. It's interesting to me because I don't really think we have this stuff in North America.
Again, it was probably, dozens of years ago in the early age of movies before they started mass producing things. So we probably did. But it doesn't seem anyone's keeping it alive except in maybe a few old movie theatres somewhere there too. But there you go. And that's the end of the article. And that's the end of our time with you guys. Thanks for listening. For English Digest, I'm Pat.
And I'm Erin.
Talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.